So we're here on the Singers, the first ever Singers podcast. Come on, someone say yeah. Woo! Yeah. It's just so like Singers to actually do that, isn't it? We don't.
Oh
scream,
my gosh,
yell,
we can yawn, right? We can yawn a riff.
Just riffing.
Oh, dear. Yeah. So this is just a great time for you guys that are listening in. This is just a great time, in this such a precarious season, such a strange season at the moment. But we've just decided to put good use to it and reach out to people. We're reaching out in a different way, and we just want to discuss and talk and hang and talk about the good, the bad, the insane, and the outright hilarious of the things that has happened to us through our singing life, our lifetime, and we just hope it encourages you. It's nothing more, nothing less, no frills. We're just hanging out and having a good time. We hope that you can get some stuff out of this. For you guys that are like budding singers that want to take your singing to another level, a higher level, or just for those people that just sing in their bathtub. It's for you. This is definitely for you, and we just hope that you can grab some nuggets. And between the three of these guys, let's talk about these guys first of all. Okay, let's go from the top. Well, my top side, we got Elle Cato. Everybody say hello to Elle Cato out there.
Hey guys.
and this wonderful woman is just such a major hitter out in the industry. I mean, she's done stuff, but she's shared the stage with people like Jamiroquai, Lisa Stansfield, Will Young, Robbie Williams,
Anastasia.
Anastasia. Oh yeah, my gosh. I'm out in love. Oh my gosh. And not only has she's been on this amazing stage with these guys, she is also strong enough to stand on her own, and that's why this new album, this new title is simply called I Am, and she's strong enough to be who she is. So we
thanks, Wayne.
Elle Cato in the house. Someone give a virtual clap out there. Fantastic. And then we move to Wayne Ellington. Mr. Ellington has been a friend for a long time. This guy, I actually haven't got his details out, but I can talk about the things that he has done, and he can interject and tell me the stuff that he has done. We spent time, one of the most prominent times that we spent time together was in Japan, and that's when I think we kind of really connected, didn't we? Done stuff. You would know Wayne from the program called. Say it, Wayne.
Oh God, the voice.
Now this guy went on and took, and this guy, just made waves on the press and showed his versatility as a singer. But not only that, Wayne has done. Wayne stands in his own right as in his show called the Nat. Is it the Nat King Cole Explain?
Yeah, Wayne Ellington sings Nat King Cole.
Oh, that must be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come out and see you.
Well,
For sure.
I think that it's amazing when you can bring the classics and there is no one more qualified for this high level of singing to do this and bring us out into this zone than Mr. Ellington himself. He's even got the name Ellen. No, it just fits, man. And Wayne is also a vocal coach for individuals and masses level, all the way to being an international coach in many countries across the planet. And he's making waves and stirring people out of their comfort zone and in such an amazing way. And with a range from like bass all the way up to soprano, he covers so much ground. Getting into the psyche of singing. Give it up for Mr. Wayne Ellington. And just feel like I'll send you a horse there now. Please. Last but definitely not least is a new friend in my singing journey. and it is Nicole. And Nicole is a R&B singer, songwriter, vocalist based in London. At the moment, though, she's in Italy because she's Italian, and she has been singing with a number of different people. She's been doing she was singing as the lead vocalist for the Grammy-nominated DJ, drum and bass DJ. What are they called? High Contrast? Is that what their
Yeah,
name?
high contrast.
Elle?
High contrast.
And also a fellow sister of mine in the Kingdom Choir family. Yes, she is. Or not to mention Wayne Ellington too, actually. Beg your pardon. And she is, one of I think one of the most sought after vocalists that I've seen around. High following in Italy. She's been on many shows. She's appeared on many Italian TV shows, and including the X Factor in Italy. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Steve Harvey's show also. And Nicole is making new waves with her new single called If Only, and it is on all major platforms now. Go get it, people. If
Ooh.
Only. Fresh.
I'm gonna
If
check it
Only.
out afterwards.
Yeah. This is my rewind finger. Can you see? No, this one here, sorry. This one here is my rewind finger, and it hurts. Yeah, my rewind finger actually hurts because it's just too much playing back. Yeah, it's too much playing back, and now I've actually got a dent in my finger because trying to play back the song.
I was like, okay.
I don't
Yes,
know what.
I saw all your faces. You're all too slow.
We're like, huh?
I just realized. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yes, go and get the single out now. Yeah, so these guys are in here in this virtual platform live, and let's just begin the conversation. And who wants to go first? So tell me, get into where you are. This is up for anybody. Get into where you are, because we've all had we all are in TV, radio, and live tours, world tours and stuff. Get into where you are in that journey. Would you say that it is something that can be mapped out? That's a bit of a broad thing, but would you say in your journey, if you was to go back, could you map this journey out to get to where you are?
Sorry, what do you mean by could you map it out?
If you was to go back to your past and try to reproduce to get to where you are, because this is one of the vocations where it's not really mapped out like, oh, I want to be an accountant, I want to be do you know what I mean? So could you actually bring yourself back to this very same place with using the same formula? There's a bit of an open question.
I actually wouldn't use the same formula.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, don't get me wrong. I didn't have a formula, but I wouldn't do the kind of things that I did back then. Again, I'd probably take it. I was 16 when I started. I was signed to Sony, and then 18 I was signed to MCA Universal. So I would take it more seriously and probably sit my backside down and write more. So I probably wouldn't use the same things or do the same things that I did. I would take it more seriously.
Yeah. And what sort of things stopped you from taking it seriously?
Youth. I think being 16, the only thing that I wanted was to be signed and put out a record. The work that came behind it, I get so bored in the studio. I wouldn't even stay and listen to someone mix the song. I would lay the vocal and leave. So I think now, being older, I would actually, I don't know, stay for an hour and listen to the mix.
Right, yeah.
I would just be more interested in every aspect of making a song, of the people that are spending your money to put out your song, you know?
Right.
I didn't really pay attention.
Can anyone add to that? I've got something to add, but does anyone want to jump in about that?
Yes. I would say that for me, obviously, there was a different journey because I had to switch countries. So coming from Italy, I had to start all over again in a way. I had to, obviously, the industry works in a different way as well. So what people like in Italy and what people work, especially for the singers industry is very different. So yeah, I would say my journey has been, I think you can definitely map it out. You can see the progress, and you can see where I've had certain changes, but at the same time, where I tried to do some moves maybe too early, or something I was trying to chase a few years ago, then they just came to me a couple years after, and I didn't have to do anything, just because of the work that I've done a few years before. So I feel like, you know, sometimes
you probably
can
manifested that.
yeah, no, even because I think it's more, you, with time, you just maybe meet more people that actually will need to listen to that thing, or, you know, or you reach out personally, but sometimes you just, maybe you're not ready, and there's someone else that's actually like, hold on, let's just go 3 years later,
I know.
and they bring you into something, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's just like, they just had to happen, but in a different manner and timings as well. So yeah, that's why I think mapping can be useful, but at the same time, I think what you think is right sometimes is not, you know, especially time wise, is not really how it actually happens.
Wayne, you got anything to say?
Yeah, sorry, I'll just move into. I looked a bit dark, so I needed to just kind of like bright.
You're like, put the light on.
Put some light behind you. Oh, he stepped into the light.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so it's really interesting hearing you all, the start of your journeys, because mine started back in London. Really kicked off mostly whilst I was studying, whilst I was at uni. I did a music degree in voice, and whilst doing that, I was getting loads of calls from people who I was working with at the time to do a lot of BV work, or being in a Christian worship team type of setting, and that's how I kind of like was being pushed forward. I didn't really want to be on the scene.
Right.
I enjoyed singing, but I was very, very shy, easily intimidated by other singers, a lot of male singers as well. So therefore, I didn't really want to progress my singing as an artist per se.
Right.
But I got loads of encouragement whilst I was at uni, and that's where everything really switched up for me, because I delved into jazz. I mean, having been brought up around gospel music all my life, I got heavily into jazz, heavily into classical, and I just immersed myself in those types of music. And it's that my voice had changed when I understood what was happening with my sound, and mixed my classical sound with my soulful sound. There it was, a new sound which kind of like boosted my confidence a great deal. So from that point, I started to write a bit more. I wasn't a great writer, and I'm still not a great writer, but I'm a superb arranger. I can arrange for. Give me a song, I can just do harmonies for days. So I found comfort in knowing that, you know, I'm not a great writer, and I don't, you know, I felt okay about that. But as long as I was able to arrange something, that was great. Moving fast forward, teaching became a thing for me. So at uni, again, my tutors encouraged me to teach some of the students, and then I was asked to teach the university choir whilst I was a student and after I'd graduated. So I found great strength in teaching, and I thought, this is brilliant, you know. So that's what I do more of now. I'm more of a creative vocal tutor, and I absolutely love seeing the joy that people get from it. So I run a community choir in Manchester. Started off, been doing it for 14 years, started with 2 people, now have 115 people involved. And it's one of those things where you just show up. So I could not have planned out this whole journey.
Right.
So your question, Clint, my answer is no. I couldn't have planned it. I couldn't have thought about this is what I'm going to do. I had ideas about what I wanted to do, but the how was just not up to me. I just turned up, and other doors began to open.
Yeah, I think it's a strange one. I know it's a strange question to ask, and I said it in that way because if we could tell our younger self, it would be very hard to. I personally think it would be very hard for me to map out what I was, because like you hit on the head, Wayne. You're still discovering
Yeah.
the shape of your voice. You're still discovering certain aspects of your voice, whilst other people, Elle, are exploiting your shape as you're going along. Do you get what I'm saying?
Or
So
telling you how to be, telling you how to look, telling you what to
bingo,
sing, telling you how your hair should be, how
bingo,
flat your stomach should be. You
bingo.
know.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, and it's funny because we've got such a variety of a kind of cascade of journeys here, from industry to live classical singing to impartation, and they're interconnected. We all straddle in one way or the other, and I think it could be argued if the if the waves of influence turned one way, we would be any one of those at any time. So it's very I agree. It's very hard for me to go and tell my, get into the DeLorean, as it were, and say to my younger self, hey, this is what you're going to do, and blah blah blah. This is where you're going to be. And it's it's always for me, for like, having a daughter that really wants to sing, and she's just got this thing. She wants to be this artist. That's what she sees. And for me, talk about like being a hypocrite. I'm like, because I'm thinking to myself, she wants to be that artist, but I know people that are going through that. They've got to go through hellfire to get to that place. And my baby girl, as I'm like, she's gonna want to or have to go through some of these stages, if not all of them. How do I navigate her through? Which is, I'm going to answer that now. I can't. She has to navigate herself through that. How is she going to be able, as a singer, to be able to become her best self in whatever she gives? And I think, telling our younger self, what sort of advice would you give to a person that's coming up? And it's open for anyone right now. What advice would you give to someone coming up in saying that they want to be a singer? Because you and I know that it's a big subject. It's not it's not the singular subject. How do you give good advice on that one?
Because my son is trying to get into the industry, so I always encourage him. All the things that I kind of didn't do, I encourage him to do. So I encourage him to play an instrument or many instruments. I encourage him to make his own music. I encourage him to be his own label. He's put out albums now. He's put out EPs, and he's done it all himself. His dad mixes his stuff in LA and sends it back to him, and he then puts it out. So whereas I needed, major record labels behind me to do what I did when I was 16, you don't need it now. So my advice to him is always be your own manager. He said to me the other day, "Oh, Mummy, I need a manager." You actually don't need a manager. You probably need an agent to book you all those big festivals, but you don't really need a manager right about now. Build up your following, build up your social media presence, and the rest will follow. I truly do believe that. I do believe in having something else to fall back on. So if you can play an instrument and go and, I don't know, play in a band or tour with a band, or vocally teach, because I vocally tutor. So if you've got something else to fall back on as well, because sometimes when you're not touring, you need that little something. You need the money coming in. So if you can teach or go teach in a school, an instrument in a school, then great. So I always say have something. I mean, my dad always said to me, make sure you have something to fall back on. I was thinking, oh, whatever. But luckily, I was vocally classically trained when I was 15. So I'm able to take that knowledge and pass it on. Thank goodness. But I really did not listen to him when he said, make sure you have something to fall back on. But I think it's important, and it kind of broadens you as an artist, because if that's something that, you have to fall back on, is either reading music or playing an instrument, then it's amazing, because, that kind of builds you as an artist as well. So, that's what I would tell my younger self, and that's what I have been telling my younger self, because my son is trying to get into it. So yeah.
It's funny
Sure,
how you
sure.
mentioned that about what your father said to you. My father told me the same thing.
Right. He said music would never make money.
Right? My dad always encouraged music in the family because my brother sings. My older sister used to sing, but she's a music industry person, as in mechanicals and so on. And then you've got my other brothers who are not so much into music, but we all grew up singing as a family. But when my dad saw that I was taking my sister, it's good what you're doing, but make sure you got that trade.
Right.
Trying to make sure that I had a trade job as well as doing my singing. And when I found that what was working really well, even like now, like now, I work at a university, and I work there as a vocal coach and on occasion. And then I still got my singing. I can do that whenever I want,
Wicked.
So I would tell my younger self two different things. I tell my younger self. I would tell my younger self to be a bit more daring, accept the challenges, not to be afraid of challenge, but just be a bit more daring. Go, take risks, and go for it. And I would tell young people today, just be open. Try not to plan how they turn out, but just be open to all the opportunities that they're faced with, and go for it. But I would also say to them what my dad told me: make sure that you've got a trade job.
It's very true, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think yeah. For me, it's been interesting because I'm 27, so I'm still like in the middle. I'm still obviously I've started singing when I was 4 years old. That's music is all what I've always done. I was classically trained for 5 years, and then at 12 I started singing professionally. So that to me, I was like a mini adult at 12. So to me, I knew how, my parents taught me how to read the contracts, how to start doing things by myself. So I kind of had to always be a bit more ahead in my head, because I couldn't really be the same as my, the kids at school, because obviously I was doing other things. I was going to school, but then in the afternoon I was working, which was strange. Like, you know. So I would tell myself to have more fun with it, because I've always been super, super disciplined, and something that I'm enjoying I'm enjoying music a lot more now, because I don't necessarily think of I need to be perfect. This vocal needs to be this riff needs to be perfect. This thing needs to be perfect. Whereas now I'm just trying. I'm just having fun with what I'm doing. And also growing up as being an introvert, I've realized the importance of just not caring. Like I had to ask myself at some point, are you more hungry or more shy? Because like there's
Wow. I like that.
literally that's been something like 4 years ago. Actually, this thing came out in my head, and I was like, okay, so would you rather just sit back and let people just take things that you could do as well, or just do that, just try. Like it doesn't really hurt asking a question. You just need to ask a question. And that year, I remember with one of my best friends, Bim, we started to send our CVs out to all the MDs of the artists that we want to work with. And the people were like, "Oh, but what are you doing? Like, why are you doing like that people, that MD needs to know you to call you." I was like, "Yeah, but they don't know I exist." So once they don't even know that I am actually, here trying to do this job. And if I don't try, the worst I can say is, sorry, we've got already a vocalist, but my CV is always there, my video's there, so they may need me. So I think once I realized that I've always been very ambitious, but once I realized that I could actually I can still be an introvert and I can still accept the way I am, but I can just at the same time, push for what I really want. So I would suggest to someone younger than me who's trying this, I would just ask, is like, how much do you want this? And what are you willing to do? Because obviously for me was leaving my own family and country to do this, doing certain things that most people wouldn't even think of doing, just because obviously the UK, they live in the UK, so they don't have to actually go anywhere other than US to just
What
do
age
what
did you leave your family?
at 19.
Wow, okay.
So it's been 8 years now. And so I think when people tell me, they're like, oh my gosh, you've been so brave. And in my head, I'm thinking it wasn't that hard because I actually wanted to do it so much. But when I go back and I'm thinking all I had to do, and obviously I think the more I grow up, the more when I come back to Italy, I feel it more because I see my parents getting a bit older and I'm like, oh, time has actually passed. Like I've actually missed out on certain things. So yeah, I just realized that to me, I never had a plan B. So my dad keeps telling, my dad owns a business and is a judo athlete, but he's always said, why do you not have something else? Are you sure you don't need another job? Because, like times like and and he still does. Even now, he's like, see, if only you had another job, you wouldn't be in a situation, to come here.
You're just trying to
You
prove
can
him
you
right
can
in silence
voc
the critics.
and you can vocally tutor. Can you play an instrument?
Yeah, I can play the piano.
Babe, you can tutor.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that they know, and I've always said, to me, having a plan B kind of always distracted me from, fully being focused, because I think it's good to have something to fall on, but at the same time, the way I am character wise, I feel like it would kind of make me feel too comfortable in a, like, having a pillow all the time makes me feel like, oh, I mean, if that doesn't work, I still have this. And
Okay.
to me,
But when you're passionate about something, you will still drive to get that thing. But
oh
you
yeah,
just know that you have that other thing. Do you know what I mean? When you're
yeah,
in love with something so badly, trust me, your passion doesn't go. You just keep focusing on that thing. But don't get me wrong, it is nice to have a pillow to say, oh, I can still do that or I can still do this. But your passion for that one thing still remains, and that's what drives you.
yeah, I agree.
Completely I get both of what you're saying, because even though lots of folks used to say to me, oh, your voice is this, your voice is great, you've got a great singing voice, a great singer, yada yada yada. And I'm not sure whether I was completely always looking for some kind of validation in order to progress my singing career. But I knew that teaching for me was the thing, because people always ask back for it, they always wanted, well, we want Wayne to come here, da 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 da, always, yeah. But whenever it came to singing, I didn't get that. I mean, so I was always thinking to myself, okay, I've done sitting down waiting for phone calls, come and do BBs or come and sing at this concert. You know what I mean? I thought, I'm done with that. I need to start building something that's I can feel, something that's strong for me, So I've not given up singing, hence why I started doing the Wayne Ellington Sings Nat King Cole. I thought, I want to get back into singing again. And it's still there. I've not done it for a while, but it's still a show.
Where was you singing? Sorry, because I want to go to one. Where was that show?
You're going to love it.
It was in the UK.
It wasn't or was?
It was. Yeah, it was.
Okay, whereabouts? What kind of venues?
Well, it was different types of theatres. So I had I still got an agent, Yvonne White, who was the acting agent at that time. So she would book theatres around the country, and these were like places that I'd never heard of. And the thing is, these would pick up the show because they knew their clients would come or potentially come to a show.
Right.
But it wasn't like mainstream theatres or anything like that. And I needed somebody like Yvonne to do that side of things, because I was no good at that. I could find musicians, always use the 3-piece band, and the shows, the shows were really good. A lot of the shows weren't so well turned out, but it's that I don't know. I did it for 2 years, right? They were like doing each show, you'd get like maybe 100 people, 150 people. Some shows were cancelled, and I thought to myself, I just don't get it. I did a show in London, and as soon as I advertised it, loads of folks were like, yeah, we're coming, we're definitely going to be there. But then, that's when I learned not to raise my expectations.
Mm.
Did you advertise a lot on social media, that kind of thing?
Yeah, uplist it. But I must say as well, one of the other reasons why that didn't work, I was doing it all myself and asking folks to help me do the marketing. They were asking for monies. I was asking my niece and nephews, just posters, and they'll do the posting for me, but then no one knows who they are. There's no actual, do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of things why that didn't work. But I don't blame anyone for it not working in the way that it did. I'm just glad that I did it. So now I'm at with that show where if anybody wants that show, it's still there, but I won't be spending any more money to put the show on because that's what I was doing.
Right. So someone would just have to promote you, the whole entire band,
Right.
and
Yeah.
and do it.
Book the show.
Maybe it's a case, Wayne, where you get the backing tracks and you create a virtual show in this environment.
My idea, you know.
You create a virtual show and then you just put something like a donate button on the side, which is like a virtual tip button, and you can travel anywhere, and you can see it's a litmus test, isn't it? It's like you can see where everybody's at. You know, just do a three show concert with a tip, and then do it in 3 different time zones, yeah, and then see what sticks. One of the things I've noticed about this virtual environment while we're talking about this is that I think it's going to open the floodgate and a doorway to the live environment being having a different feeling and sensation again. I think it's almost like a recalibration. Just reaching out to people. Either, you know, all of us do our educators virtually now. That people are the type of reach out that they're having. People have to actually work a little bit more on the virtual platform to connect, and I think that's gonna cause a very different sensation for the live experience. For example, there are people that we're connecting with in such a real way right now virtually when we're singing across and we're teaching. My lessons are totally I have to put a different head shape on my lessons to connect and draw stuff out of people, which I would have taken for granted in a live experience. But now, you know, I'm coaching people in India and in the States and in Sweden and what I'm finding now is that what's going to happen is that the connection that you're having with these people virtually, when it comes to doing something live, because this is all about growth in this area, and you're doing something live, people are going to want you even more.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely.
Because of the virtual experience, they want to feel what it feels like to connect in a very live fashion. I think for the singer, this environment is only going to do good. It can only do but good if you know what this environment is all about. It's a cocoon environment. It's where we all. Well, if some people are hibernating and some people wake up when the rest of the world goes off, or the people that actually understand, the singers that understand what this is all about, will understand that actually this is to traject you in a different place. I want to go back on the subject about teaching. Is it a pillow?
Sorry, can I just say one thing before you go back, because it's on the same subject?
Yes, my dear.
What Clinton and I have done in the past when we've had shows or albums or things that we need to advertise, we send to each other, we send to our good friends. They may or may not have a huge following, but they then post on their pages, that kind of thing. But we just say to people via WhatsApp, please, can you help me promote my new show? So what I would say going forward, because Clinton and I use each other all the time, Nicole and Wayne, you have my number now, I think, after this. So please WhatsApp me when you have any shows and say, look, please, can you just post this for me? I will post it on my page. I will advertise. Also, what Clinton and I like to do and what I love to do is when I do a show, I like to get my friends to come up and sing so that they can advertise their show. They'll come up and just do one song, but it's so that the people in the audience can hear their voice and then they advertise their show. I'll be like, this is so-and-so, and then they'll advertise their next show. So you guys are more than welcome to come on my stage when I do my next show. I think it's in August.
Elle,
and sing a duet with me, no problem.
Yeah, You need to have these guys. You need to have these guys.
I would love to. I've just got a feeling. I have a feeling that you guys are badass. Seriously, I have a feeling. But I asked. Clinton was meant to come and sing with me. Was it in March, Clinton?
Yeah, and still going
Yeah,
to be.
in March. And then you're meant to come in August. So hopefully he'll join me in August. But you guys are more than welcome to come up and sing a song with me, and then advertise your next show. You know. What I would say in this time, because I'm actually doing my next album, what I found is that a lot of musicians and a lot of our musician friends, because there's not money around right now because no one's getting paid, we are trading.
That's
so
right.
if they want vocals, I'm on someone's new album in May coming up, which is hilarious.
Right.
But it's because I've traded and they're giving me piano on my album. So if you
Yeah.
guys want to trade anything, I'm happy to trade as well. I'm happy to trade.
Okay.
You know,
Same here. For
let's
all
all
you.
network together.
This is something that I've been pushing. Well, Wayne, we've had many conversations on tour. Nicole, we've had conversations to the economy that we have in the circles that we have. If you've got people on the right page, do you know that when we trade stuff, and I think there's a lot of people that kind of not downplay but destroy the whole economy because they forget what this is all about. Our economy is a self-sustaining economy if you see it that way. And the amount of investment and savings that you make both ways, if you have a strategic circle of people,
Yeah.
you could save tens of thousands of pounds just by utilizing the leverage, and it's honest leveraging. It's not dishonest. It's not, oh, you're underhanded. Oh, yo, can I do you a favor? Could you do me a favor? No, let's lateral trade.
Let's trade. Yeah.
This, and then let's put something together. From my dad says, make sure that when you have friends, make sure they have a trade. Yeah. That's what he said. Find a plumber.
Don't get me wrong. On my last album, the 2016 album, I paid everybody, and I paid everybody because I just thought you're just like me. You're a musician, you're an artist.
For sure.
You should be paid. So I paid everybody because I had the money to do so. However, in this current climate, we are trading.
Listen, I'm an advocate in, and I don't get me wrong, Elle, because you're right. You everyone is worth their meat. I haven't got no problems with that. But I'm saying that if you wanted to raise, I'm talking like it's almost like a movement. If you wanted to raise the bar, the level, because the fact of the matter is, I can't pay for Elle in the way I want to. She's just she's gold. She's like gold. It's like trying to find a unicorn. I couldn't. Do you get what I'm saying? So because of the lateral things that we can do for each other, do you get what I'm saying? You literally raise the economy up in whatever project that you have. And now, if you imagine a whole circle doing that at the same time of mixers, so you'd have a mixer, an in-house mixer, an in-house producer, an in-house engineer, an in-house vocalist, lead vocalist, top liner, whatever. Imagine you had the whole shebang, and you all just went.
I know.
That's with probably the exception of Nicole, from our cultures, we had what we call partner.
Yes.
Nicole, partner is basically you have 10 people and everyone gives, let's say for example, £10. They all give £10 to that one person on that week. So everyone has that person number one has a bulk of money in a week. Then we do it to person number two, and person number three, number four, and that's what partner means. So we basically pump in money into one person so they can do what they can do on that particular time. So it's in the absence
and then they do it the next week to someone else.
And then so everyone's still giving £10, but it's like you saving but getting that money at a particular time when you need it. So you can choose the place where you are. So if you can imagine a partner type of philosophy within an album project, Elle's going to do an album and she needs BVs, and we go right, we're here. we go and do her album, and then she's got a person that says he's going to mix too. Because the fact of the matter is, the other thing is that if I get Elle, and I know this conversation digressed a bit, if I get Elle or you guys or people like that are of this caliber, and I do the same for you, yeah, your project goes up in value straight away. And then I have someone that can then all of a sudden there's a gravity drawn to it. And I think that's something that we're not used to doing as a community. Go on, Wayne.
Oh, Wayne, I love the way you got your hand in the air.
You know, he's a teacher.
It was about trading, and I completely agree with the whole trading thing. I mean, I've always thought myself, and I've always done it for other folks, and I've often tried not to throw in any funds or anything like that in the mix, because I live in Manchester, and it's expensive to travel outside of Manchester down to London, nearly 100 quid almost, you know, to get down there. And then once you're down there, you've got to get across the city again and so on. However, I never make money an issue, but I've done it so many times where folks have asked me to come do some work for them. They don't have, because of the relationship I have with them, it's always good. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, look, and the other thing is, because I've got my job as well, that helps. And I don't have, do you know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that helps. And when I wasn't working at the uni, I was like, this is how much it's going to cost, man, and this is how much that's going to be. Do you know what I mean? But I soon learned you don't have to be that way. And I found that when I was doing my my show, musicians that I'd asked, I was like, well, this is what the fee is, and I can give you more based on ticket sales and so on. And a lot of them were like, bro, I'm just happy to do this, man. Don't worry about it.
Oh, bless. That's really nice.
Got like 3 musicians who ain't fussed about being paid, are just happy to be asked, you know?
Wow.
Bless.
Well, that's amazing. And I thought, you know, whenever you need me, just give me a shout. If you're in the area, just let me know if I'm available, I come do it. So I do believe in the whole trading thing. And I think, I'd say it's a kind of mentality that we might have been brought up with in terms of not knowing how to trade properly, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
This way, because if we were brought up in that way, we would definitely. I do feel that everything would be on such a higher scale individually.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
What I was going to say is, obviously, there's a point where you have to feed your family and feed your children. So there's only so much trading I can do. So obviously, with my friends and stuff, don't get me wrong, I'm the same as you, Wayne. When I do a show, I pay everybody their set fee. I pay everybody their set fee. Mine is regardless of door sales. Reason being is because it's not their fault what the door sales is going to be. Do you get what I'm saying? So regardless of door sales, I'll make sure they get their money. But like you, Wayne, I've had people saying I'm really happy or feel blessed just to be here, and I'm like, wow, that's really kind, because I know these people have to go home and feed their families. I know that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, obviously I don't work like uni or have a 9 to 5, that kind of thing. But yeah, there's so much. I mean, especially in this time, trading is everything. But Clinton would tell you, me and him have been trading for time. You know, he'll be like, "Elle, come do some vocals for me." I'm like, "Okay then," and I've just run down his house down the road. It's just what we do, especially when we're all in the same kind of network. You know, a lot of people like to call a lot of people breadheads in this industry. I don't call them breadheads. Reason being is, a breadhead is where all you think about is money. I don't call people breadheads. Reason being is you don't know their circumstances. You don't know what mortgage they have to pay, if they've got 10 children. You know, you don't know.
For those of you that are joining in, we're talking about children.
So I don't call people breadheads. If people need paying, they need paying. But you know, there's certain people I'm more than happy to trade with. And don't get me wrong, there's certain people that I'm not happy to trade with, knowing that they've got millions and they're
Yeah.
trying to get things for free. Do you get what I'm saying? So you kind of know
For
who
sure.
to
Yeah.
be cool with and who not to be cool with. You know, that's this industry. People will try and use your talents to better their own. So you kind of have to know who's got the good heart and who doesn't.
Yes, I think there should be. Sorry, Wayne. Go on. Just the balance, isn't it? Like I think knowing when it's even worth doing it, because at the same time, is obviously there needs to be a balance in terms of we all have our jobs when it comes to, you know, gigs or even just, you know, doing vocals on a certain album. But obviously, if one thing is Paloma Faith comes to me and says, do you want to do BVs for this? And another one is my friend who's an emerging artist like me. It's a different, and even if it's not a friend, obviously, I think like I would never ask to any of the emerging artists who, even if I don't know them personally, I wouldn't feel right to do that because I feel like I know what's your situation. I know where you're coming from. So for me, asking you, and I hope that obviously when it's the time for me, if I'll ever
That they'll
need,
do it in return.
they'll be
Yeah.
the same thing because obviously that's we should all. But then you'll be obviously, you know, you probably won't be surprised because you know, but some people will be surprised because when it's actually time, not
Sometimes.
everyone would do it. But I personally have very good experiences with it, to be fair, because even during Christmas time, Clinton was involved in this project. And obviously that was more for a charity. I've done a Christmas single and I've donated all the proceeds to a charity that basically looks after the Amazon rainforest. And I've called 13 people to sing and obviously producer, someone to arrange the choir. And it was a big project. But when I saw the way people were just happy, they didn't even ask. They didn't even ask if there was any money involved. Because I was
A
like, look, I
budget.
want to single. Can I, you know, do you guys want to come and sing for this? And no one has said, oh, but hold on, what's the fee? Or yes, I know it's charity, but I'm not sure if I can make it. Like people just ran because they knew that when it's their time, I'm the first one to be like, okay, just send me your stuff, tell me what needs to be done, and I'll help you. And that was really nice to see because obviously, you know, even pouring into people, it's really nice because you do get when you and obviously you don't need to do it because you need to get it back, but at the same time, it's lovely just to just see that people will support you when it's time.
Yeah.
So not be afraid with it, I think. And yeah, as long as there's a balance, obviously I'm not gonna if I have a job on that day, I have to do it. But at the
Of
same time,
course.
if we plan it and if we know if it's easy for both of us, then it's cool. Like I'll be there and there's no need to, you know, warning or to you're just gonna be there because we're all at the same level really. Like we're all trying to get to the same place.
I think I kind of straddle between two different worlds, and I think between all of us, we all kind of straddle in the same way. I think that's why we have a degree of empathy. It is a different type of empathy that there is if person is a kind of a purist this or a purist that. I, my philosophy is even when people do, I'm talking about of a similar ilk, when they do have the money to pay, I as a rule, I say no, I do not want it. And the reason why is because I know generally the people that I get into allegiance with or alliance with are people that are have a particular, they have an ethos, a movement with their stuff. They want to take it somewhere. They want to make a change to someone's life. That's the people that I normally form alliances with. And so because of that, my personal thing is that if they have the extra cash to be able to push that even forward, even further, I know these people will help me out come rain, sleet, or snow. It's an unspoken because I know their heart. So for me, is like I'm like, you know what? Take that additional money that you were going to pay me. I know you got a budget, and even if you are putting it on the shopping cart, don't worry about it.
Bless you.
Don't worry about it. There's one person where we've done it. It was a writing project as such, where I said, no, it's a 50-50 split because this is a song, it's a single, it game. But I think it's the one time I've done it. Every other time, if I see that you've got a mission, it's more valuable to me and to you for you to be able to take that finance, because anyone that says it's not about finance is a liar. Yeah, it's always got something to do about finance. It's how you bring it. You bring that finance into the mission or your ethos. So if I can push that investment and say, go and do that, because I know soon you're going to have my back in some way, shape, or form. I just know it. Yeah, it's not a premeditated kind of, oh, you do it for me and I do it for you. I just know you're going to do that because you're that type of person. You're like me. So it's better for me to allow. It's a better for me to say, use that finance, go an extra push further with it. Don't worry about points. You make and jump to that platform. Once you get to that platform, then you can pull us up, because I always see it as a kind of political movement. I always see that we need some people that have power, so that when they use their mouthpiece, they can pull other people up. When Elle says, right, I'm coming on her stage, yeah, Elle's following is on Instagram is huge in comparison to mine. It's huge. Yeah. So but I know her heart. When she's pulling you on her stage, she's saying, guys, I'm introducing you to my fans. Do you get what I'm saying? So she has the power right now. Let's just call it that for argument's sake. Yeah. One day, one of you guys will move up to this place and you will say, can you come to my stage? Or I might come to another place and say, Elle, here's my stage. And that's how we pull each other up. We do this. One pulls each other up. You've got to see that first, so you can make your actions happen afterwards. I know people that have gone to superstar status, and I haven't heard them again. But they were around my studios, or they were around in my bands and stuff like that. And I'm like, that leaves a really funny taste in my stomach. I mean, you've gone to superstar status and not a hello, and you're pretending. And that just showed me that money amplifies you. So if you can learn to do that now from this place here and say, don't worry about it, you need to get to that place. And if you can get to that place, we all win.
Yeah.
So for me, finance is everything. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because it means that you get to do your thing, or you get to go to freedom. You get that step closer to freedom and using your mouthpiece the way you need to use it. And anyone that says it isn't, I don't believe it's. Everything is a commodity. Everything is exchange. It's how you exchange. It's how you use those platforms. For me. Anyone else?
Sorry, Elle, I just looked at your Instagram.
Did you? Did you see the way I'm trying to multitask with this child that is behind me right now? She's behind me right now, trying to come out the door.
And she's a mother. Mother musician.
Wow.
If you don't mind me asking, how many children do you have?
I have two. One is 17, 18 at the end of this year, and my little one, she's 7. She's going to be 8 at the end of May.
Nice. Really
Do you have any
nice.
children, guys?
No.
You have any children, Wayne?
No.
Nicole, not for you, not yet. Don't do it just yet.
Not yet.
just let your career explode. Just wait. Otherwise, you have to find money for the babysitters, and that's no
Should
joke.
I have children and sing?
You want to tour freely? Trust me, you don't want to have to pay babysitters.
Okay, so while we're on that subject, go on. Sorry, Wayne, go on. You go first.
Go ahead. I would just
say it, man. Say it. I can hold my question. Go on.
It was just, this is really interesting. I've never had a conversation like this. Do you know what I mean? Or like this, just talking about singers talking about their experiences and stuff. This is quite incredible. And
I'm actually really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's lovely.
Really funny how psychology works in the way that, if someone's introduced to you and you don't really know much about that person, and then you find out that this person's done a bit more, and on the scale of things, like for example, after just looking at your Instagram page, Elle, and I looked at the amount of followers that you have and everything, and I looked at your wide scheme of things and music and so on, I'm thinking that's then again brought my thoughts of you to a next level. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
About it's not about, what is the word? I think there's a level of respect that I already respected you anyway, not knowing a lot about you, but seeing what you've done and hearing what you've done, I'm like, well, this is somebody who's worked. You know, like the Color Purple when all my life I had to fight.
Oh my gosh, that's me. That is so me.
So yeah. So it's funny how, you know, when folks hear us singing, all of us, whenever folks will hear us sing, they think, oh, you sing so great, da, 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 da. And always think to myself, you don't know what it took me to get here.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't land on a plate. They don't just show up like that. And folks are like, oh, I want to learn how to sing like you. Like, you're going to have to put work in. Not only do you have to put some work in, but you've got to go through some experiences as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Sorry.
Nicole.
Yes.
So I'm, you know, on the subject of artists, Paloma Faith, you sang with Paloma Faith, Diversity, Demi Lovato, did I say it right? The Who, Tom Jones, Take That, Jerry Halliwell, to name a few. How do you navigate, or should I say, how do you prepare for such a diverse set of people? Because you know, they are very different in what they ask for. You know,
Yes.
singers that, you know, people that are aspiring to be a singer, to learn their own voice is one thing, but to sing a type of voice for those different artists, that's another level. And lots of singers, you have to well, you answer that. How do you prepare yourself through those different episodes?
I think it depends on also, for me, for example, my biggest strength has always been that I didn't settle on one genre for a very long time.
Okay.
And the fact that I was able to always be very versatile has helped me land in different types of jobs until I actually understood what was the best for me. Because I've always liked, for me, I always knew that the genre that was best for my voice was R&B. But then at the same time, because I was classically trained, and then I've switched to jazz and then pop, and then I've done musical theater, and you know, like it's just, and obviously coming from Italy too, that adds, because obviously the melodic pop, that definitely helps when it comes to working in the music industry, because you can really work with many artists, and I don't fall under one box.
Right.
So but I would say preparing, I think it comes with just knowing, I mean, being professional when it comes obviously to you know, your character, your the time, like being there on time, knowing who you're working with as well, like studying what's their work. I realize sometimes I will find myself in a recording studio, and half of those people were just there for the name, but they didn't even know what was, you know, the album before that, or what we were recording for. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, I'm not sure if it's a single or if it's an album. And I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
And I think and also I've always been very myself, I'm always very, very friendly, but I don't idolize anyone. So when I get to these places, I'm really good friends with some of these artists now that you've just mentioned, because of I get there and I do the work, but I don't idolize them. They're someone like me. So at the same time, I just come to you and speak to you as a human. And I just feel like that made everything so much easier, to the point that, you know, when I went on tour with Diversity, I'm still really, really good friends with them. And when now, for example, the other day, the song came out and I reached out to one of them, to Ashley, and he was like, oh my gosh, your song is amazing. I need to promote it. And I didn't even expect it. I just was like, yo, the song
That's
is out.
lovely.
You know what I mean? So I just thought, you know, and it's great when you get to that. Obviously, when it comes to bigger artists, when, you know, it's a bit different, because they wouldn't do that. But at the same time, it depends on what kind of level of relationship you have with them. But I think in general, it just helps really staying. It obviously it depends what you want to do. But I think it's really good to stay versatile, and to stay flexible when it comes to this industry, because any other day someone new could come along and be like, can you do this? And I think sometimes you can there's a chance that you hinder yourself from doing something because you're not prepared, or because
Right.
you think that's not for you, but you haven't even tried. So I just think sometimes I've said yes to things and then figure them out along the way. Like I'm doing a gig in London, and I'm doing a tribute to Frank Ocean.
Oh,
And when I read it, when they called me, I was like, okay, yeah. I said yes straight away. And then my friend said, yes, you're gonna do the raps.
what?
I was like, what? And I was like, and you've got 10 days to learn the whole thing.
Oi.
Okay.
Oh
And
my
it's literally,
gosh.
I've never worked, and like in general, I've never went through something so difficult in my life.
Mm.
Like Frank Ocean's lyrics and metrics and the whole, the song is just something. So his songs are something else.
Wow.
And I said yes, and I knew that I didn't know what I was going to do, but knowing the way I work, knowing my work ethic, and knowing how quick also my brain is, because that helps, I've said yes, because I said, you know what, let me try it, because the truth is I could actually, pull it off in my way, and I've done it. So, sometimes just without being scared. Me 10 years ago probably would have said no, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I've just become a bit more brave with that, I think.
That's it.
Right. Yeah. Anyone else want to add to
Can
that?
sorry, I just wanted to ask, can you all read music?
Yeah, I can. I'm a bit slow now, but I can.
Can you read, Wayne? Can you, Clinton?
You know what? I've had a love-hate relationship with reading, so I can
Okay.
get by.
So
I
could
can't
you,
read.
sorry,
Go on.
so could you walk into a session with a piece of sheet music in front of you and just play straight away?
No, not that.
Okay.
It would.
So
Yeah,
this is definitely one of the things I would say to my younger self, because I can't read
for sure.
the music. I did the backing vocals for The Voice for about 5 years, and the poor MD of the band used to have to play us dong 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 or whatever, just play us what he wanted us to sing. And the other people in there, BDs in there, would just read the music and just sing. But for myself and another girl who I sing with a lot, he had to play it to us for us in order for us to sing. So I said, in this time that we have right now, I'm going to teach myself, because that is one thing that I do regret. Is he teaching himself too? Are you teaching yourself too, Clinton?
So I have. I am actually got. I have dyslexia and dyscalculia. Yeah, and every other
Right.
lexia you can think of. So
Oh, babe.
I only later on realized, whilst I was teaching a student in primary school, that she couldn't see she couldn't see the stave properly, and she had to have a special like a filtered screen over the stage so she can see the lines and stuff. When I looked through the same thing, it became clear to me, and then I realized all this time when I said I couldn't read music, it was because I couldn't see the lines clearly. It's a different. It's actually a condition that you have when you can't see. So I abandoned reading for years, which has a different strength to me, because my ears are as good as other people's eyes. So I remember doing a score. I did an Open University course, studying score music from 1400 to the present date, and it was like a three-legged race with a short guy on the other side of me, because half of my brain was listening. I was trying to switch off my listening side, but I was trying to read, and then while everyone was reading this stuff off, I had to switch on my ear side, my ear training side, to not keep up, actually to be faster than everybody else. So I was answering questions. They were like, "What chord is this?" And I was like, "Oh, diminished seven." "What chord is this?" I was in all my, and they were like going, and then the teacher turned to me at the end of class. She goes, "I can see that you have very good ears. Now can you start to read?" Because I was cheating. I was just cheating.
Right.
That's what I've done my whole life.
It's right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only because of I don't is it the condition called anesthesia, not the "I'm in love," but anesthesia, which means that you can visualize sounds with colors, and you can basically, it's cross sensory, and because of being able to use that skill, of being cross-sensory, it's helped with my learning in terms of memory, in terms of graphic score, notation, etc. So that's a way of being able to overcome it.
I had a very similar experience to you, Clint, except my first composition class, we were asked to write a third above and a third below the melody line that was written on the board. And I knew what a third above and a third below was, but my mathematical melodic mental state was just non-existent at the time. So having to use maths and read music at the same time just was not, because I wasn't brought up to read music.
Right.
In church, like the banner hymns, and it had music scores and stuff in there, but you know, you just read the lyrics, and no one ever taught you how to read the notes and so on. You know. However, I knew what I wanted to. I knew what melody line I wanted to put above, and I knew what melody line I wanted to put below. So when I asked the tutor, "Can you just play that line for me, please?" The looks that I got from the rest of the students was like, open up that grave right now. And that's one of the reasons why in school, I've done all right in school. I could have done better, but I was always a bit afraid of asking questions because it might sound stupid or something. But when I asked that question in the lesson and the students looked at me, it just brought me right back to school. So I thought to myself, do you know what? Whether you like it or not, I'm going to ask the question. Can you play the melody for me, please? Because I just need to know what it is, you know? And so I attempted to write a third above and a third below. And then my tutor took it. He took everyone's scores, played them out. And when it came to mine, it was like, I think I get what you're trying to, what harmonies you're trying to use here. Very interesting, but just tell me if this is correct. And he played it out. And I'm like, well, yeah, we'll just change that note down to the bottom one and just put that one up a third or so, or a seventh. And he worked it all out, and he played it all back, and he's like, this is very interesting. I was not expecting this. And all the students were like, how do you do that? And I'm thinking to myself, right, from that point, I thought to myself, I'm not going to beat myself up if I can't read or not. I'm working at a university, you know, where I told them I don't read music, and they were like, that's fine. Just get our students up to your level or above, any which way you can. So I thought.
And that's through vocal alone. So it's through vocals you do this?
Yeah.
Wicked. That's really good.
And can you tell everyone where you work, please? Is that all right?
I work at the Royal Northern College of Music. It's a conservatoire in Manchester. It's almost like it's the sister college to Royal College of Music in London, and the conservatoire. So I third year, fourth years, and master's students, and I'm so proud of it because I'm proud of myself because I think having the love to teach, and when the students see me, they call me professor, you know, and I'm like, you can call me professor, you can call me doctor, because I call my music room, I call it the surgery.
Ah.
I'm like,
Beautiful, beautiful.
You know, so they all love it. But amongst teaching, reading music, and having building a connection and relationship with your students, whether they be your actual students on a regular basis or a one-off lesson or a group of people, I get a kick out of seeing the joy people get at the end of a lesson. That's me, man. I'm like, once they're like, thank you so much, that was really enjoyable, I can't wait till next week. I'm like, cool.
That's so good.
Like the next week, you know.
Beautiful.
We did a masterclass in do you guys know BIM in Brighton? So they hired it was myself and another two girls who sung with Jamiroquai. And I mean, I love teaching, same as you, Wayne. I love teaching because I love the joy on everyone's faces. I think it's just amazing. And when they do something with their voice that they've never done before, it's it brings me so much joy. So we did a masterclass where we had to kind of like tell the children where we've come from. And I think a lot of the students there were quite shocked of our journey and who we were touring with at the moment and all that kind of stuff. So obviously impress them, but I kind of wanted them to know the realness of it as well, and the things, because I'm not saying that they're my children, but I kind of look at everybody like they're my child, because I want them to be protected in this industry. So I made it very clear, you know, there are highs and lows in this industry, but you just can't let the lows get you down. You know, I'm quite a hyper person, as Clinton will tell you. I'm quite hyper all the time, probably because I've got a 7-year-old and I have to act like I'm on the CBeebies or something. But I'm quite a joyful person. So even in this time that we're having right now, I find the joy in singing. I find the joy in exercising, doing assault courses with my child. But, you know, singing brings me joy. And before people take it on as a job, it should definitely bring them joy. Because when you don't have that job, you've still got your joy. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Word.
Absolutely.
Word.
Absolutely. Yeah. Come on, everybody. Everybody.
Poetry.
Bring the beat back.
I agree with that. I think you guys, like, when you said joy and singing, that's definitely what it is. I think I came like in the opposite. I came from that world where I was always scores, literally all the time. That's what I started with. And when I was 9, someone from, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Teatro alla Scala in Milan, which is one of the most renowned opera theaters in Europe. And I'm from Rome, so I wasn't even from there. But we went on holiday with my family. I sang, you know, those competitions in this resort, so they do like karaoke thing. And because I was super, super shy, my dad was like, you need to sing in public, go and sing. And I was like, no, but I don't want to. And in the end, I had to. And I've ended up winning something for my family, which is really great. But in the audience, I didn't know, but there was the director of this theater. And he approached my parents and he was like, so what's your daughter doing now? Is she studying already? Is she doing? And they're like, yeah, she's doing lessons. And, but, you know, we don't know. She's still young, like she's 8. So we don't know what's going to happen if this is just a hobby for her. We know that she's really passionate and she's, you know, the teachers tell us that she's really talented, but we don't really know yet. And it was like, well, she's more than talented. We need her in Milan. And obviously my sister was 4 at the time. So my mom was like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to work because my dad was working here and it's like, how it's going to happen. And in the end, we worked it out that my mom will come with me in Milan. So I've ended up spending 2 years in Milan at this theater, basically learning opera singing. And it was funny because the youngest person after me was 18 and I was 9. So for me, I was kind of like, and to me, it was very normal. Like I just felt like I was like, oh, we were at the same level because in my head I was like, oh, I can do the same things as you do, so it's fine. And
Right.
you know, it's a very, very disciplined world, and you know, it's more like there is no room for error, and at the same time, I wasn't really enjoying the part where, you know, the math part, the part that you had to, well, Wayne was saying, like, it's not something that naturally, if there's something that doesn't make you passionate, it's really hard because you just can't, you just don't want to be there. And you're like, but then I could tell that once I've learned it, I was like, oh my gosh, this really, it helps me obviously get into another level. And I didn't appreciate that because obviously after when I was 12, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, this is not what I really sing when I'm by myself. This is not what gives me joy. And obviously for women, that's where your voice starts breaking as well. So my teachers were asking my parents if I wanted to continue with that or not. And they were really supportive because obviously they've listened to me instead of listening what they wanted. Because obviously the academy was like, you need to stay here because you're going to be big in this world. So you need to continue. And I was like, but I told my mom, I was like, when I'm in my room, I sing Alicia Keys. I don't sing, you know. So that's what I wanted to do. And they were like, okay, cool. So we came back to Rome, and I didn't appreciate all that training until I was 17. And there was a big project that came to me here in Italy. It was a big musical based on a really famous novel here in Italy. And it was involved, like TV was involved for the premiere, and it was in the Dome in Milan with the Pope present. Like it was a big, big event. And when we started doing the recordings for that musical, we were literally 14 hours 4 days a week. In and out, we had to learn all the things. But what happened is that basically I was part of a gospel choir that was hired for that job. We get there, and obviously I was in the sopranos, but all the sopranos of the choir got moved to the mezzos but me.
Oh, wow.
And as I said, I was 17 and everyone else was like older. So they looked at me and they were like, why is she there by herself? I don't get it. And then all classically trained, famous opera singers walked in. And I was basically the only one that didn't have any experience in that at that point. So I was like, what am I supposed to do here? So the scores come out only for us. Everyone else was like, this is your parts. For you, this is the scores. And this was like 5 years that I have not touched a score. So I was like, okay, what am I gonna do now? Where am I? And I was very sincere. I looked at them and I was like, okay, so I'm not sure if you noticed, but you know, I'm a bit younger than you, and I don't really know what's happening here. So I need help. Like, what is this? What's this? What's this? And I remember that in 24 to 48 hours, I've learned more things just by asking than because I couldn't tell them that I wasn't able because at that point I was there. So I was like, how am I going to navigate this? I think just them being there helping, and that was a blessing because some people, I don't know how available other people would have been. But I've learned so much, and from that day, I just couldn't forget because I just felt in a moment I was like, oh, I am underprepared, but they think I'm not. So how do I navigate this? Because these people are actually rating me higher than what's actually in my head. So I need to just, work it out. And I've asked all the questions, everything I needed. Every 5 minutes, I was like, what's this? How do I read this? And obviously that stayed because when you find yourself in the situations, I think it kind of like, stays in you because you don't want to go through the same situation again. And obviously now I'm a bit slower, but I can definitely, if you give me a score, I remember the tips that those women gave me those days, and I could never forget them.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's when you have to put your big girl pants on and just go like this.
Exactly.
I've got to work. I've got to work. And you know what? That's a clear example of your gift making room for you. Sometimes you're so gifted that the technicalities of doing stuff doesn't measure up to your gift, and you're in that room to learn something that measures up to the raw talent that you have. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think all of us have had a time where we've been pushed into a room that mentally we're not prepared for, but because of the gift that we have, it's pushed you into that room, and you have to now figure out the rest of the stuff. Elle, I know you come from a depth of experience. What's the toughest situation that you've been into where you felt like, oh my God, I'm out of my depth here, but you've triumphant, you've been triumphant, you've made it, you've done it?
I'd say it would be usually when you're hired for like a television program and they play something to you and you have to remember it straight away. So your memory has to be like gold dust. You have to, and they can play the longest thing to you and then you sing along with it once and then they press record. So you're like, you have to be quick. Also being called 24 hours prior to Jamiroquai rehearsals. So everybody else learnt the songs at home. And then I got a phone call saying, look, would you like to tour with Jamiroquai? One of the girls couldn't do it, or I can't remember. Someone got asked, they couldn't do it. The person that used to do it, I think they left, I'm not sure. And then I was asked to come in 24 hours before. So I was thinking, I need to learn a plethora of songs. I need to learn probably, I don't know, 20 albums, because how long has Jamiroquai been around for? So
Right.
in 24 hours,
Wow.
before I got to the rehearsals.
Hello?
I don't know, maybe 3 weeks prior to. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, it just cut out for a minute. Go ahead. You guys can hear it. Just cut out on my side.
Yeah, usually you get like maybe 2-3 weeks prior to learn the songs before you go into a rehearsal room to, rehearse with the band. And I had 24 hours and had to go there the next day. However, when I got there the next day, I was told that we were going to rehearse for 1 month. So I was like, yes,
Yes.
because I had to learn dance moves. I had to learn all the songs.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes on stage, you know, Jay would pull out a song, or he'd pull out a song that morning and say, you know, in sound check, we can rehearse it. And then we have to know it by the time we've gone on stage. So I would carry my phone on stage with me, stick
Right.
it to, you know, one of those things that you attach to the mic stand, and have the lyrics, because melody I would learn like that. But if you've only got a couple of hours to learn the words, oh my gosh, that was probably the scariest thing. If I knew I couldn't learn the song in those couple of hours for the Jamiroquai tour, I would say, look, I'm going to sit out on this one. So I would just walk off stage and let the other two backing vocalists do it, because they'd been in it for 18 years, so they knew all the songs.
Right.
Whereas I did not, you know. So I think those were the times where, would I say scary? Not scary, because I'm always up for a challenge. They kept me on my toes, put it that way.
For sure. That's a ballerina moment, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wayne, what would you say is the most kind of the white knuckle ride experience that you've had in terms of learning stuff, or in, you know, in your experience?
I think one of the most embarrassing moments.
Oh wow, we're going to the embarrassing. No triumphant moments, just embarrassing. Go ahead, man.
Well, here's me. Every time I've got to do any type of BVs or any kind of events that's successful, every occasion very different, you know. So I'm always celebrating the small joys and the big joys and so on. But the embarrassing ones, I just can't celebrate. So being asked to, there was a lady from the States, something, it wasn't Vanessa Williams, and it was a Williams girl. She was new, young, and she came over to do a BBC radio gospel train show with Juliet Fletcher. So there was Juliet called who she felt were not the bee's knees. I can't remember. Did you? I don't know if you did this one, but it was myself, Paul, Michelle, two other singers that were doing bees for her and for Candy Staten as well.
Juliet Fletcher, by the way, is a gospel historian in the gospel circles. But for the listeners out there, go ahead.
So so there we were, learning a lot of Candy Staten stuff because it was easy, you know, and the BB parts were just like spot on. We got that fine. But this other girl, you know, those gospel R&B, all these little bits and bobs in there. And I thought, in the rehearsal was so bad. I said to Rachel, if we can't get this in the rehearsal now, got off us on the concert night. So then we got to the concert night. We all looked at each other. I was like, I can't direct anyone because I don't know it well enough, you know. So someone else agreed to direct and so on. But the parts that she was directing, I thought, that ain't the right. And this was for like radio. Thankfully, live radio. But
oh my gosh.
They couldn't play the lady's song in the end because the BBs were just so bad, and I just felt
wow,
by that, man, because that really, you know, being very new on the circuit like that, you know, I felt very privileged to be singing next to singers who I felt were like, folks I love to be singing next to. But yeah, that experience mortified me, and I thought, never again. However, in saying that, what I have learned is that if I've got to learn a song, I need a good 6-7 months before. Because Monaco last year
Oh, I know where we're going.
sorry for the L. We were there. So myself, Nicole.
I wasn't, but I know.
Yeah. Okay. I was there. Yeah. It's documented. We was in Monaco. Continue, Wayne.
Tell you, right? There are certain songs that I know, and the certain songs that I know are just bits and bobs of a song. So, for example, "All of Me," yeah, you know, what's his name? So, "All of me loves all
Loves
of me."
all of you.
So I've never ever had to learn or sing the verse. So on this occasion, I had to sing the verse, but I had to learn it first. And I thought, okay, I'll get it. I'll get my head around it. Come the day, I was just so nervous to the point that I even had the lyrics on a music stand in front of me, and still got it all wrong.
Oh.
And the sound of the summer about you, even the crying was beautiful too. And the choir behind me, this was a Kingdom choir. The singer behind me, who were in the big old live event, you know what I'm thinking of.
It was funny though.
However, my triumphs have been, one of my triumphs, I must say, have been doing The Voice. Now, it's a triumph because I didn't go in to win. I didn't go in to get any extra points or anything like that. But I had this fear of, believe it or not, fear of cameras. But I don't think the fear of cameras was about, you know, I'm a selfie king, so I love to take my own pictures and stuff like that. But being in front of like TV cameras and things like that, you know, I was often kind of fearful of. So that was one big hefty challenge. And also just presenting myself to the world was another big challenge. And I thought about doing it because I thought, do you know what? I want to do more singing as well. And let's just see what happens with this. So I took the label competition off and went for the kill. And you know, I had an amazing time. So when I think about that, the feedback that I get from folks that I don't even know, I got one even just this morning. We went onto my website just to say thank you. They're a fan, a great follower, and in these times, she was hoping that we're doing well and still touching people's lives and so on. And I thought to myself, really, things like that, that's like fuel. So
That is so good.
yeah, if I hadn't done that show, I wouldn't have got that message this morning. So
Yeah.
the big things and small things, I love everything that I do. I always celebrate. Yeah.
And I think I like. Sorry, go on, Elle. Go on. Yeah.
No, I was saying I've screenshot this so that I can take your name down and check out your pages and follow your music. I think it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's community, man. It's community. I think Wayne, you know, for me, seeing you on that forum, you know, I think a number of us as singers have gone through. I think not so much for you, Nicole, because you're still moving. You're going that way into a place. Whereas Elle, she's more of a seasoned, experienced vocalist, and in all areas actually, education, artistry, recording, etc. But I think for a group of us that are in that kind of middle ground of not having those pinnacle heights in their solo career as such, for me going on The Voice was I flirted with the idea of going on it, not for the fact of going on it to be in a competition, but going in there just to kind of validate me. I'm not really interested in the competition as such, but just to be able to say I could stand on this on a type of stage and deliver me, not necessarily my voice as such, but to see what it would look like. Does that make sense? I don't know if it makes sense to you. I've come from a place where I've turned down a record deal, 5-album record deal. Another record deal was proposed to me by major companies back in the 90s. Was hanging around with some amazing people and stuff. I didn't want to touch it because I knew who I was. I wasn't ready for that kind of power. I would have been in completely different headspace. So I never got a chance to peak being that guy in that forum. And I think for me personally, being on something like The Voice or one of those shows would have been the next best thing. Wasn't really interested in winning it, just see how far I could take it, and getting that exposure. So for me, seeing you, Wayne, on that place, it was amazing. Seeing people like yourself on there, Jazz Ellington too, another Ellington, Michelle, just
John.
completely, Michelle John. It for those people seeing us, it was like, yes, I really did feel like I was connected with you guys on that place, but particularly for you, Wayne, because I've never seen you in that place where you did you. And so I was really proud to see you there, and I felt like I was with you in that journey, and would love to see you doing you anyway. So TV or no TV, you from far as I'm concerned, you're like a rock and roll star to me, in terms of that whatever field that you're in, where you are the rock and roll status of you, for me, you're like that high status of the coaching world. Do you get what I'm saying? You're international in that aspect. I was just wanted the rest of the world to catch up with you when you was on that program. Did you follow me? And so for me, I remember when your vocals took to another level too, when I remember hearing you. And I don't know if you ever got that feeling, I'm just honest to admit it, where where you hear someone blow so hard that it hurts you. You're like, oh my God, I'm not sure I can do that. And I remember hearing one time we did a gig in Poland, and just hearing Wayne blow, and I actually remember where it hit me. I was like, I don't think I can do that. And that actually burns me that I can't. Not jealousy. It was just like, he's gone to a place that I cannot go.
It's inspiring though, isn't it?
It's inspiring, man. It's beautiful when see that feeling right there.
Absolutely.
That's the romance that we chase after.
Yeah.
It's that beautiful moment where someone's taking it to a place and you just inspire you want to go there. And I love being in love with that feeling, and I'm in love with having that feeling. It's romantic. It's nice when other people are doing it and you can chase after that same experience. And yeah, man, seeing you there, oh, beautiful. It was the moment for me, man.
One of my dreams are, well, I've got quite a lot of dreams, but one of them are things like, for example, like the four of us, for example, there'll be curtains. Just
Sure.
imagine, I have like dreams like this. If the four of us were on stage, even if it were to do one song, it'll be curtains. Because
people, shall we?
Yeah.
People, shall we do one? Shall we do one? Ask the question. You ask the question out there to people. Should we do one? People that are following and catching up with us today, should we do a concert? Should we do an event? Maybe it be virtual, maybe it be live when this is all done over. Type in the comments, and we'll count them up and see where it is on the social medias. Agreed, guys?
Look what you started, Wayne.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you on that, but yeah, ask the question. We're going to ask the question, and if that we should make it happen, I think we should make it happen.
Yeah.
Go, Wayne.
Early on, you gave me an idea, and that was, I think I have to think about this a little bit more, but to bring an Nat King Cole show online. So, for example, I'd set up at home. I'd put my suit on, put my tux on, and my white shirt, and my black tie, and everything.
Do it.
Find a spot in my living room, and just do like a 15-minute concert.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
I would definitely tune in. So let me know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
I think it would be lovely.
Yep.
Just get some backing tracks.
Well, yeah. That's what
Yep.
I've not seen. I've not seen. Someone else might have done it already, but I've not seen anyone do like a live
Not seen it.
concert at home.
No. Yep. Do it. At Wayne Ellington 7 is Wayne's Instagram handle. You should join him on his Instagram account. And I can't hear you, Wayne. Say it again.
Sorry, I forgot this was going live.
Yeah, you spoke about that, didn't you? Yeah. So at Wayne Ellington 7 is his Instagram account. You should join Wayne on his Instagram, and you need to put the fire Nat King Cole virtually live. Yeah. Go to his Instagram account and let's count up the number of fires that we see, the fireballs there. And if there's a set of people that would do that, then let's get this going, man. Why do we need to sit still in this crazy apocalyptic time? Let's create some fire. I think that would be great. I'd watch that. I'll definitely watch that.
Absolutely. Me
Yeah,
too.
definitely. It has been absolutely wonderful. Nicole, do you know what, Nicole? I can't say your handle correctly. How do I say your handle?
Nicole Thalia Music.
At Nicole Thalia Music. Go to her Instagram and you go check out her new single that is going to be coming out. And it is out. Yeah, and you need to get it now. At Elle Cato Music. Go and check her out. Also has her track, her stuff out. It's called I Am. And keep in touch, people. Let's keep the conversation going. Join us. Would you guys come back and do another roundtable with some other different people? Can I mix you up with some other people?
It's been really good.
Amazing.
I've loved it.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm actually bring in one person. So one of the seats on the round table is going to be a person that's aspiring to be where you guys are.
Okay.
So we're going to do that as a lucky draw. So in the next ones to come, and get people just sitting in on this and feeling that, you know, in my days, looking up to the people that I wanted to aspire to be, I couldn't reach out to them. I couldn't get them because we did first of all, we didn't have this forum, but B, they set themselves so far away because of their work, not because of their ego or anything like that. I can't believe it is that way. But we couldn't get them. So I would like to bring fire to the people, let people sit in amongst you guys and let them know that you're human and they can ask questions, and then we can wrap and help them to move to another level. I'd love to reach out to some people. I'd love to reach out to Stokely Williams. Stokely, you've been a hero for years from the Mint Condition, Mint Factory. If you're listening to this, I'd like you to join in on one of our shows. It would be very, very, very good. I'd love you to sit along some people here. Omar, I'd love you to be on one of our shows. That would be great. If you could actually put your handle in on this, it would be great if you could jump in on this conversation. We've got in our other shows, we've got I can tell you some names. We've got Tony Momrell. Oh my gosh,
Tony, we love
listen,
Tony.
Tony's just confirmed yesterday. He said, yeah, I'd love to jump in on this show. We got Gavin Holligan. Gavin Holligan is going to be with us, joining and telling us his story too. We have got the amazing, just a wealth of knowledge, Paul Lee. You will know him from the 2018 Royal Wedding when he changed the dynamics of that song. When the night, and the rest is history. He has changed everything. We got Phoebe Edwards coming in, and she's gonna be gracing our presence. This girl's an absolute powerhouse, and much more. If you would like to be one of the singers on this, and you want to share your stories, join me on this conversation and hit me up, direct message me, and we will send out a press pack to you how to get on this show. Guys, it's been absolutely amazing. You're wonderful people, you're beautiful people, just sharing your light and it's just been so warm in this conversation. And let's do this again. There's no reason why we can't do this again, guys.
Wicked. Yeah, it was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it.
Say goodbye to the people. Say goodbye to
Bye,
the people.
people.